Alright, so I'm gonna make a video. It might be too long of this madness that I used to have, and this is a fitting picture to start with because basically now I downgraded to nothing, and that's a whole nother story. But just the madness of having so much stuff, right? Like I'll go quickly through some of the pictures very quickly, but I just had so many, an insanity amount of things, and I just love stuff, and it was a mixture of a collector, hoarder, and at different points my stuff would be in disarray or kind of okay. And so this picture of some thrifted records which were moldy probably, and some of them probably I didn't even know what I had, right? And so just to start, I mean, it's very embarrassing to go through this stuff, but at the same time, it's part of my madness and so many things and so many memories and some of the stuff I do appreciate and I would get back. But now that I'm basically don't quote unquote have a place, I just rent Airbnbs and in different countries and different cities at different times. I only have a backpack and I own basically nothing else, right? Like I don't really have any storage or anything like this. I have one suitcase that I keep at my grandparents' place in Mexico City, and then my brother has some Pokemon cards and an album that we grew up with for Dragon Ball Z stamps. So they're just sentimental things, and he likes that stuff too, so he keeps that. But at one point, I had this place in San Francisco where I had so much crap, and I wasted so much money, and I got rid of all of it, right? And I always thought I would never be able to do this. I would never be able to get rid of it. I thought I was stuck, basically, because I had so much. And whenever I had to think about moving, if I ever had to move, it would be the most painful thing ever. But eventually, I guess I had to do it. And here we are now with a backpack, and that's it. But let's go through some of these pictures because it's just insane. Like I used to be into men's fashion, so I had so many shoes. Now that I think back on it, some of them I bought because they were good deals or because of the leather type, but they were really kind of awful shoes. But some of them are pretty cool, like Carlos Santos, I think a Portuguese company, I think is the right balance between the price you pay for like the high quality versus some of the other brands. Maybe you pay a lot more, double, triple the price, but the quality is not going to keep increasing at that rate. And Carlos Santos, I think when I paid for them, it was like $200 to $300. But I think now maybe they're not around or maybe more expensive. I don't know. I don't keep track. But I think they were high quality shoes, and I used to be obsessed over sneakers and men's, leather shoes. Local companies like Elden Elms, I think, are also good depending on the style or what you want. I think I might even have some of these weird shoes down there too, and I have so many art books. Then I have my kangaroo racing motorcycle suit on my recliner chair, and the recliner chair is like a whole trip on its own. Like I have my desk that's at one point I had you know, my work had bought three 55-inch monitor TVs that I use as monitors, 4K ones. So they took up this whole space you see here. And I think I might have done a different version before. I think big TVs and projectors are really cool. One of the things I miss is a projector. It's really awesome because I had a big wall to project onto, and that was amazing. I missed that. But also the 55-inch TVs, which is one of the ones left here. So this is like I think between when I was selling stuff and getting ready to move, and I don't remember exactly, but I had like you see so much crap here. Like I have and that's always like this. There was always a kind of mixture of like collection and clutter. Like I had a bunch of frames in the bottom corner which I never used, like down here, and then I have this 55-inch TV, and then I had at one point I had like stacked three desks. Like this is a 55-inch TV here, another 42-inch TV down here. Some I would pull this desk that you see here out, and I would have three 24-inch monitors between the the TV and the desk, and I would have another 55-inch TV over here. Um, so my racing suit, because I used to be into motorcycles, I never used it, right? Because it was ridiculous and crazy, and I didn't have a track to go to, and I eventually got rid of motorcycles too, but I kept the suit too, which is like a really expensive suit. but just for like safety, and I did crash 2 times, but I wasn't even wearing the suit. I was wearing something else that did actually protect me and did rip up. It was probably the Nacy, I think, the name of the company. In any case, this recliner has a story too. I bought this used, and I had somebody help me move it, like a professional mover. And he was great because he was able to get it out of this really tight spot, another San Francisco place. And I used this eventually just to listen to music and maybe work on this at times. But I would recline on this, and it would face more or less the sky. I mean the ceiling, and I had set up three monitors on these arms, which you can see later in my Cintiq over here. My Cintiq here has an arm, but I would have 24-inch monitors that would kind of swivel into the front of the chair, like right here. I would have another desk on this side, and then I would have a keyboard that was on a tray as well, and so they would kind of turn in this direction, and they would be facing basically down, so that I would be able to use the monitors, kind of like those setups that are really expensive. I kind of Frankenstein my own setup, and I was using it at the time. It was really cool to just program, and I don't know. I think it might have even ran Linux, and I would just face the sky and use this crazy thing, right? This crazy setup, like a scorpion type of chair. I think is where I got the inspiration from. I think there's a company that makes something like this, but I got it for like maybe $400 when these chairs are usually like much more expensive. I think maybe this one retailed for 2K or some crazy amount of money. Anyway, I had a Cintiq which I didn't use that much, but I did use from time to time, and I had all these like plants which almost all of them died because I was horrible at keeping them. Then I was super into natural history, so I had a bunch of stuff like this buffalo skull. I ordered online, I think, and then I kept this broken lamp from IKEA, and I put like a plant at one point here. And then I had this Anatomy Tools poster, which I love their stuff. Like I had a bunch of stuff, and I think here I had a reptile enclosure, which I used to keep snakes, and I was super into like reptiles and all kinds of stuff like this that are really odd. Here I'm stacking things like printers in between, and a plant over there. Here a dying plant in the corner, and another thing to stack things. And I had multiple old school music stuff like receivers that I would get at the thrift store. And I did use this at one point, like even this thing I turned on, and it was a radio thing. And these, I think, were really cool, but they were overheat sometimes, like this one particularly. Um, Here's another view of my desk, right, where I had only one 24-inch monitor left, but I had a Oculus. I loved that, and here a keyboard where sometimes for work I would ask for like a signing bonus in the form of hardware, and that was really cool to be able to like to buy this really ergonomic keyboards, which I would still get today if if um if I was to rebuild up a setup. I would get that. I wouldn't get this antique, but this antique was cool. This always made me nervous, but these were really high quality. I think Ergotron arms are expensive, but really good. And then I had here we have my laser cutter. One of the few things I did is I bought these like coaster shaped things of leather, and I you know engraved the world and my dog in them, but I didn't use my laser cutter that much. I would fill up notebooks all the time, uh, and then a plant that's dying. Here I had this like thrift find, and I would try to upcycle it by or make it cool, right? Because I watched this video of these people who made all their own furniture and put in weird shapes and like with weird like bubbly furniture, and they're just sculpting into their furniture. And I always thought and I thought that was so cool. So my little version of it is just like with chalk paint, I think. I think I mixed some type of paint. I don't remember, some YouTube channel, and then I painted this crappy thing. It was actually a really crappy thing because this thing was broken, so this drawer would be hard to get out. This one, I drew some spine on top here too, and here, but I could have drawn more and done more furniture like that. I think actually this was one of my favorite things I did. It was just like try to Like I could have done it on this one too, but I guess it was a lot of work, but it was fun. It was great. One of the few things that I actually kind of did do, those projects that you never do. But anyway, my my ambition was way crazier. It was to make everything like that, but I never got to it. Right? Like this table and everything. And then I used to go to the Maker Faire in the Bay Area, which is awesome. I think at one point they were struggling. Hopefully they're not anymore. But I bought this because of that. It was some CNC thing that you could put a laser. And eventually I did get a laser in here, and I did some engravings outside in the back. There was a space that went outdoors, but it made a lot of smoke. So eventually I decided to spend money, thousands and thousands of dollars on a BOFA system for filtering the laser and a really quiet Muse laser, which was actually great. Um, but I didn't use that much. Anyway, there's a bunch of speakers down here and like a keyboard wireless one, a bunch of stuff, random stuff. More shoes and hard drives that I broken or like these enclosures that I never even used, just and then these things which I don't even know what they are, but I'm sure I never used them. And then um, this part of a frame for a bed that my neighbor had given me when they were moving to Australia. Like they owned the unit on the third floor, I think, and they decided to move after COVID. I forgot exactly why, but anyway, they had some high end furniture, but it was also kind of like repaired. And I decided to keep this just for like doing wood projects. I didn't do anything with that, like most things, right? So I just accumulated stuff, and for some grand idea, and one of these shoes. And so I had cowboy boots, which I did like Casey, I think, and like these are like ASOS, which are like knockoff of some designer ones. But I really like them. They're really not that expensive. These I forgot the brand, but they made some high quality, like these woven boots. They're really cool. These are Allen Edmonds, and they're fine. I like the chukka boot style, but these alligator boots, which I actually got a good deal on. These were cool, but they were like in our color. I think it's these were like actually much better because they're versatile and these two, right? Like for wearing every day. And these loafers too were cool, suede. I think Allen Edmonds maybe. And but these were suede alligator slash maybe crocodile boots in blue. And I had even like found a pair on. I think I found these on eBay as well, but I found a pair on eBay for green version for really cheap, but they were not. They didn't look good in person. Um, but these were amazing. These are still some of my favorite, the suede alligators. Just something that most people. These are alligator too, but they're more the shiny one. Um, and an artist got these for me. I mean, yeah, alligator kind of does keep its value better. I think like these, especially right. Like I think I basically got them for like over $1,000, and they went for basically about the same price. So but a lot of this, most of the stuff lost money, like a lot, right? Like tons of money lost, and like all these shoes over here, and like my notebooks. I was pretty good about doing art on notebooks, though, and my laser with the water system and the pump, and it was actually really quiet, and that was amazing. That was really great. I should have used it all the time because it was very low noise. Then I had all kinds of stuff like these cats for drawing, which I didn't do that much. Skateboard, I don't know how to ride a skateboard, but I think it looks cool. All kinds of like epoxy to mix, and I never mixed. Like probably like rivets and stuff for leather work, which I did some work with leather, but not. I never used these things because they make too much noise to put them together if you don't have a special tool. And the mask I did use, but this thing to make the clay softer I didn't use. There's probably like some type of caliper tool here. Anyway, a bunch of random stuff. Um, this Prime One, I think I'm telling you, guess Ninja Turtle is incredible in person. It's actually really cool. But it did, I think, broke this part during shipping, but you can glue it. And some guy who collected a bunch of collectibles eventually bought it locally, and he had to like put this in the front of his car seat in some weird way where hopefully it didn't break. But it was cool. He bought a bunch of other stuff that I had, like Hot Toys and weird high-end collectibles that I like, and he liked too. He had way more than me, but I guess you always find cool people um, in your hobbies when you start getting rid of your crazy hobby stuff, right? And some leather too. Like one of the things that I regretted is not meeting these people beforehand because they were all in the Bay Area near me. Anyway, some guy came and bought the laser, and I also helped him move that. And so, yeah, it was basically so much life left on this thing. But it was really, really awesome. One of the few things I did is I drew my own little characters, and then I laser cut them and engraved. They were engraved and cut, and then I painted them, and then I made 3D printed little stands for them. Nothing fancy, just something cool, right? Like one of the few projects I actually did do. And then I had all these things where he would label and get all kinds of weird containers from the thrift store. Just so much. Now I get something embarrassing stuff of all the money wasted. It's this row of stuff like these boots here. These are like some high-end, like $500 boots that are maybe probably sold for nothing, right? But they were like dirt bike boots, and I didn't realize they would be so stiff. I just wanted the most protective thing, and I ended up buying multiple high-end motorcycle boots just because I thought, I'm not buying a car, so I could spend $500 on the gear. So I probably bought like other $500 boots for that some famous motorcycle person probably wears, and then I would use those, but they're so stiff that it's hard to actually walk with them, right? So I think I probably use Fry boots is where I actually crashed with, and they're not as protective, but they did help. Um, and they didn't break actually. They didn't tear up as much as my pants did when I crashed. So anyway, I have these chairs which you could get on. I think this is worth like retail for like over $1,000. Like this embody Herman Miller chair, but you could get it for $400 in the Bay Area when a startup would go under. And anyway, I loved. So I would get a chair like this again because they're really actually quite good. Um, or I had another one by Steel Case, I think is the name, and that one is not as popular. So this one I think resells. I got probably didn't lose much money, even though I only paid like $400. I think people really just want these chairs. Um, I had a Roomba style thing. It was a clone. It actually worked pretty well, but the app stopped working, so it was annoying. I had to just press it by hand, or I couldn't program it to do it whenever. Um, and then I love this, like everything on wheels was an idea I saw somewhere, and I had this on wheels too, and these little things on wheels, and not everything, but I think that was a great idea. I had to have a dehumidifier at my place because this place would get superhuman and would ruin leather stuff. And I had all this leather here from Springfield, local shops, and all kinds of like mountain leather, I think it was called. All kinds of crap that I didn't end up using, but it was so cool. I like all kinds of different types of leather. I loved smells, just so cool for me. A bunch of art books, wood that I never used. Um, Planes with the head, the body version. I had the heads over here, and this crochet thing by Scott Eaton, I think was his name. The Anatomy Tools ones. This one was secondhand, so it was really beat up, but it was really cool. Had the skeleton monkey and this giraffe skull, which most people don't know that they look really crazy, but I love natural history, like a bunch of wet specimen reptiles and snakes. Uh, this road bike, which was not super high end, but I got roped into buying it locally by the salesperson. When I first moved into the city, about how everybody rides a bike, but I ended up basically never using it. I bought this expensive thing so I could use it to work out. I did use that a little bit, but not enough to justify the cost, probably. This ball was actually probably the most ROI, right? Like the lowest price, and I got a lot of value out of it because it's like $20, and I would buy this again for sure. All the stuff on this is just a bunch of jewelry, random crap, and maybe my amplifier, which is here and not being used, but I did enjoy using it when I did set it up. Um, but this stuff looked really cool in person, and my little figurines for like Star Wars and like the Joker and these up here like Groot and These were avatars that were like $30, but everybody always was drawn to them. So it's fascinating how some, like for example, these hot toys were, and this one too, like an Iron Man, really expensive, but people were really drawn to these. This thing, I spent so much money on this posable figure from Japan, but then they made a bootleg version of it, and it was so cheap, so I bought another one, but it was a bootleg one, and it was basically the same thing. It's crazy. Um, just the way plastic, if you think about it, it's just plastic. It was really intricate and cool though. These I love. I want art books, really cool stuff. Bunch of boxes because I just had way too much stuff, right? Even though it was quote unquote organized and labeled at one point, it was just too much. This is one of the most useful things, right? Just a shredder to shred all the crap that I didn't actually need. The angle bit, this keyboard thing, I didn't end up learning how to play the keyboard, but I had one that was pretty good. Um, and then all my leather stuff, which I took many classes, spent a lot of money, thousands of dollars for some of the people here were like in San Francisco were incredible leather people, like the founder of, or not the founder, but the first person from Hermes to come to the U.S. had her studio, her shop here, so she gave classes. I mean, it was cool to take that class. I'm glad I did, but it was really expensive to go through the whole program, so I didn't do that. But it just gave me a glimpse. I'm always a big fan of spending money on training and education. I had a leather sewing machine, industrial one, and like some tools that she recommended we buy, which are expensive. My table from IKEA, which is kind of beat up, but I loved eating that. And these kettlebells, kind of dangerous to use indoors if you drop them. Oh, this is one of the embarrassing stuff is just like the amount of hats with tags on them, and I thought I would be a hat person, but I kind of wasn't. So I tried to buy a bunch of. I think Warner Brothers makes really great. Not too high end, but high end enough. Um, the threshold, right? Jordan ones, but the short ones that people make fun of, but I like them. They didn't really probably even wear them outside. Um, Oh yeah, I did love this stuff here, which looks like junk, but it's actually like pocket squares from Drake's and other companies, and they're just silk and wool and really high quality. And I think Drake's makes some of the coolest, you know, but you have to have like some type of weirdness to you to wear them. But men's scarves and pocket squares that have really cool intricate designs. Here's some of them, right? And I also bought other ones and not by them, but way cheaper. But yeah, the quality of this one, for example, is just at a whole different level. So I got to see like some of the high end stuff and feel it and go to stores, and there is some difference between them. But some of the plain stuff, like this Drake scarf, is not gonna be that much different. But some of the intricate designs versus like some of the ones I got from Etsy, they're really cool still, but yeah, the difference in quality up close, I can tell, I can see why some people get obsessed. Like this fashion book, I didn't use, but I love having um, all kinds of weird like plastic brushes and other oil brushes that the weird thing is you always save quote unquote your best stuff, like your best clothes, and never really wear it. And then you end up selling it for pennies on the dollar, like me, It was just like a huge mistake. But at one point I had like all this stuff labeled and all my paints and uh, kept the video card. Sometimes I would write on stuff that was broken. My helmet from my bike I never used. I bought this weird. I liked oddities and weird stuff. Like I bought this weird head here because I got it for so cheap. I forgot how much, maybe like $20, and I saw it at some I don't know antiques type store or store where they sell high end furniture for a lot of money locally. I was like, man, and I just found some version of it. I guess you can see how like the price of things, like that figure that I was talking about as well. I would get these figures like for cheap too. So for one day to like do a project with them, like these two. This is a bootleg, so I could like kit bash them, but I never did that I can remember. Um, this is I think Proco, which is a cool. He's a cool guy. he hooked me up with one of his friends when I emailed him about taking classes. I think Leon was his name, and he gave me some classes online uh, for like oil painting. So I was super into that. Took some local ones too with some guy that's I think very good, but I wasn't a very good student unfortunately. And then I bought these like planes of the head type of little figures. I had so much obsession over art and like all these anatomy tools, and I even made this weird like I had these hot toy type heads, and I would put them in this plastic ball. I took it to one of my meetups once, and they thought it was super weird and not, but to draw from different angles. I didn't use it that much, but it was cool, like little thing that I made. Um, and then I had all these clay and art books and all kinds of books about dogs and all kinds of things. This is one of my favorites, though. Like this thing that I took this class by this guy that I started off, I guess, in some other career. Never thought he could become an artist, but eventually he switched and he became a super prolific sculptor for film, concept art. And he had this class about like building armatures really quickly and posing your characters so that they would balance on. And so the balance kind of dictates the pose, and that was kind of the core of the class. And I would keep some of those around that I made from that class. That was really cool. I love Harry Potter, so I bought this, but I never used it. It's probably the audio book. I bought this Rick Owens, I think, collab, but I think it was the wrong size slightly, or it didn't fit perfectly, so I never really wore it. Then I bought this weird like Etsy jewelry, I didn't wear it, but I thought it was cool. And these like alligator belts, and these weird scarves, more boots. These I used to wear and wore them to death. Uh, that's actually good value, and when I actually used to not obsess over buying too much and actually just wear what I had, a bunch of chalk and more clay, I think, and a bunch of art books. I do miss the art books, and then a bunch of maybe like a baboon skull and other little Reese's monkeys, I think they were called. But I always had this plan and never did it. But I bought these horns and these other things because I love those oddity type things, like those skulls where people would like the human skulls that they would put make into art pieces. So I always thought of doing that, but with animal skulls. So these joining the skull of a monkey with like this horn thing, and so that's why I placed them next to each other and making like some type of little stand for them, making them with like because there's a lot of ancestral skulls from like different tribes that have like feathers and things like this. So I have one with feathers at one point, but with an animal, right? Like an animal skull, like these different animals, and have them be with feathers or with weird things like this. So that was the idea. Oh, this is my ironing work. So I got into ironing and clean and like really taking care of clothes at one point too, and even had like this steaming system, all kinds of ridiculous. Okay, shot makes some great leather jackets, and I bought a bunch of them. And then other companies, lower end ones, and there's higher end jackets, like I was mentioning Rick Owens, which I never owned, but I know they make some high end. But the problem was it didn't fit properly. This one especially, because people always talk about stretch them in or stretch them out or whatever. But I think I would just buy the right size because I didn't wear it enough to. It's funny because I know I have a leather jacket that's much lower quality than this one, but at least it fits. And I guess I bought that one in Colombia. This one I bought from the internet. Um, but I don't need it. I don't think a leather jacket is that versatile. It looks cool. I bought these embroidered jackets from like probably eBay or some random websites I would buy everywhere, right? And I had so much clothes. It's very embarrassing. Like I had these Drake's uh, shirts that I got during their sales because they're insanely overpriced. And then I got all this weird stuff. Like I would buy these little pins to put on sports jackets and just I love this one though. This one I would keep. I think this one looks really cool. They're meant for women, right? Like these. I think these are made out of like I forgot like some volcano stuff. I think, or basically just cool materials. And these silver ones are really cheap, but really cool. Like this one, it's actually made out of silver, but it's crappy. It's just like a crappy quality in terms of like the imprint, but it's a belt buckle that looks pretty cool. I think I saw some guy who made really high end ones on Shark Tank or something. I just wanted something that was lower end. This one is just like a watch that broke, but there's like a, I forgot what brand has something like this that's sold, and I couldn't get that version because I didn't know about it. Then I had this leather stuff. This one I spent so much money on and never wore it because it's weird, but I always thought it was cool. Like this bracelet, it's really for women, right? But um, I always thought that pushing yourself is is good in terms of fashion and art. So sometimes I would force myself to wear those scarves that I had, or this thing, right, that I made myself, or these little pins. This one actually I think was cool to wear. I still like it today. It was like this little face with this see-through kind of amber thing. And I would just wear it on my sports jacket. Um, in these two. Um, but anyway, I guess I had these were gifts um, in high school a long time ago, so I kept those for a long time, right? Now I realize they were all priced, but I wanted these, so yeah, I guess my dad got me those, and but then I realized I asked for the wrong thing because it's like it's overpriced for. After learning that one company owns all the brands of glasses, right? I stopped caring about the brand, and now I realize I think they even own the low end ones too. So it's all like a racket of pricing. These are really cool though. These little figures from they're the same scale, same size, the skeleton, and then the figure. I had a bunch of them. I think there's another one down there. So and whenever I could, I try to get a deal on everything. Right. These little skulls are high end tools. High end little skulls too, kind of pricey too. Um, just a bunch of random crap that I love, like this cricket cutter. Actually, this is like one of the best tools. Also targeted at, I guess, stay-at-home moms or women in general. But it's such a great tool. Like that, you can put different attachments, and it's like a printer, but for like you put a pen, you could put a little cutting thing. You could even cut leather to some extent or vinyl, and it's really cool. I guess the software is the only thing that maybe gets outdated, but it's it's not too much for the low end one, a couple $100 versus the laser cutter, and you can get do similar things that a laser cutter can do. Obviously, like I have it parked here and not using it, right? But here's the little boards that you use down here. It has so much storage of stuff. Again, so much stuff. I made this one actually during that class that I took from that Hermes teacher. I still have this thing because I use it to, just store my cards, I guess. But yeah, I would. This watch I like actually. So I do like watches. I think this one I kept the version of it. I think, uh, but these little pins were expensive and cool. I still like these. I think they add a little bit of flair to your like if you don't mind wearing them, right? I like. I think this was a fossil. I had many fossils, and so I bought like a little fossil pin to wear on my lapel. Um, but I had all these fossils down back here. And I was always thought I did take some jewelry making classes. I think I kept one of the few things I've made. It's like this jewelry thing. I would even wear this thing as in my lapel too, but it was too big. And this actually was really cool, but I never wore it, which was like a wooden belt buckle. And this watch actually I really like, but I guess not a lot of people like. I bought from this guy in Texas. He used to engrave handguns and stuff like that, and he engraved this watch already. But he made a little custom skull for me at the back, um, or on the other side. And oh, here's the thing I made, but I think this is maybe this is a little class I took for silver jewelry, right? So I made this little necklace thing. So you just have a necklace around it, but I guess I made it in pewter and in silver, two versions. And I had this watch as well. I remember this watch when I bought it because I used to work for a company about recommending products. And I bought this thing and I put it on my little profile for the website. But it was like $100. But eventually, I think this is worth nothing, right? Like this is worth like $30 or something. And these are really cheap, and I bought them really cheap. But these, I think they add a lot. Like these little bracelets. If you pair them with your watch, I'd really like that look. So you don't overdo it. I think that's a balance, right? Like something kind of subtle where it's still not too much. That's the problem that I had to learn. I had to. It's hard to like pull back, right? Like to only have enough when you don't try to pair up too many bracelets and too many things, and then just enough of a pot. That's what I like these days. Well, here's a close up of this thing. I love this thing. This was really cool. It's just like this is a weird thing that I bought. It's also cool, but then these little versions, I like these. I think these. Um, this is probably like a ring, but yeah, this is the volcano one, and this volcano thing too. I think, but little pins. I love these. I think they're still cool even today. Here's the watch again. Oh, here's my amplifier, which I did enjoy this. Oh, here's another watch with a little movement that was like engraved, but cheaper version because it was mass produced, right? Or machine, engraved machine. So much leather, right? Like alligator. I don't even know what this is, but this painting I liked, but it was kind of funny to think about because I bought this on eBay and it was oil painting that I thought was cool, but it was hard to resell any paintings. That's what I learned. Maybe I just don't have good taste. Then these skulls, alligator and other animals, and the monkey and this dog escort shit like this one, like it's a cutout of it. It's really cool too. And this beak of some type of bird and these butterflies I love. And more of the anatomy tools here. Almost all of these are anatomy tools. This one I bought used for really cheap. Kind of beat up, but still cool. Like it doesn't connect that well here. And this was crocheted by Ethan. I took his class. I did terrible though. And a bunch of stuff here. Maybe a wallaby skull in here somewhere. Oh yeah, here's this is a replica. This is a replica too, but this is oh, these are the avatars that I was mentioning that really people love, but were like $30. Compared to this Iron Man, it's probably like 300 or $400. This I think was a replica too. With the head was some type of replica, I think. And then this guy like the villain. Um, yeah, so embarrassing. But I used to have this cool chair from IKEA. I love this chair. Not too expensive. Uh, so many suits and coats and ridiculousness, right? Another sewing machine. Here's the industrial one. Here's my. I just store cases and monitors that I didn't use, like a 30-inch monitor, what I got in school from my scholarship, and then I ended up keeping it for a long time and never getting rid of it. It still worked actually. Anatomy tool boxes. That thing that for Japan, I think this was the copy version. I don't remember actually which one's which, but basically, one I paid like $500 for, and the other one like 30, because they made a copy. Oh, this embroidery machine was so cool. I only used it like one time, but it's also expensive, and somebody did pay good money for this one when I sold it. But same with the sewing machine, somebody came from far away because I was basically probably selling for half off. The table is really heavy. I almost injured myself helping that guy carry this thing, but we got it down there. I had a 3D printer for resin, probably down here. I love that thing, but it was so hard to use and toxic, right? And this little press that I had, so I didn't have to make that much noise with my stamps and like my what do you call that tool to punch holes, and then this thing to engrave by hand or like leather burning or wood burning, um, and some other thing to make the edges of your leather really crisp. I forgot what it's called, but it was used in that class, really high end class. This fake plant I like. Um, yeah, this thing too. This thing. I bought the cheaper version. Oh, here's the thing I engraved with the laser cutter. And then I bought these buffalo teeth. I was gonna make a necklace out of them, but I never did. Sharpening tool, a bunch of cool stuff here, like cheap Dell PC. I will run Linux on it. Here's the industrial sewing leather machine. Uh, what else? Yeah, again, more clothes and just oh yeah, I would paint the Spider Man because I some just to post them and to buy these. Oh, this was really cool. You could post these little plastic figures and they had magnets. They were really cool, much more affordable. And then I would make these little. I wish I could see as well. These little weird, like cartoony faces with clay that never hardened. Here's all my alcohol for the reptiles, so the wet specimens, right? Oh yeah, here's my tahini, most important. Bunch of clutter, right? Like I had the ukulele guitar, electric guitar. I never learned how to play them, right? Another oil painting that I probably had online and never sold for that much. Little figurines that I really like, actually really cool. And I had this projector set up at one point. Then a small a TV that I did use for like playing video games from here, I think. Uh, Maybe a computer down here. Oh no, these are shoe boxes. But I did keep my computer up here now that I think about it. And I would play cool games on it. But anyway, I had this table for drafting and drawing. Then I had another one with my. This one is also for the same thing, but it's transparent, so you could actually put stuff like a light box underneath it. It's really cool, but I never took fully advantage of it. Here's the thing that my neighbor gave me. This is a pain to get rid of because it's so heavy, right? So I gave it away, even though it's really expensive. Like he gave it away to me. Actually, I had to hire somebody to move it from his place because he didn't tell me how heavy it was. That was a mistake, but in any case, could be worse, right? We could have gotten injured. Uh, this I stacked on top of this bamboo thing at the bottom was ridiculous. It was dumb. I had a receiver, but the projector here, instead of pointing here, before I used to point from here to here, I would point to this huge wall on this other backside before I cluttered everything. So it would take up like a huge space. It was bigger than a 100-inch TV by far. Like it was so big, right? It was amazing. Even though the projector was like really old and not, it was like a gaming projector actually for like 3D gaming, which was really cool at the time. And I stopped gaming and it stopped being produced. I think you had to have those glasses that eventually broke that had like active flickering. But anyway, I eventually got so much stuff like storage here. I put the bed underneath my bed. Like here's the switch. Uh, just so much crap. Tons of movies and video games. Like I cataloged this and somebody helped me sell, get the value, the estimated value out of them in the market, right? More skulls. These were really cool. They were like these skulls that are unusual, like multiple horns. This is one of my favorite art jam, I think is his name. One of my favorite art. Another one of those possible figures. I had this, you know, stuff left over for when I used to keep reptiles, but I was always planning to do something with like vivariums and terrariums, really custom ones. So I have some stuff in the kitchen for that. I had some stuff in the kitchen for that. These were good. These were like extension cords. This is my antique companion thing, the first version, so it was not worth a lot. And yeah, yeah, more art stuff and hats and Wii's and a bunch of games and a bunch of game consoles. Oh yeah, here's the bike that I actually ended up using only after I was getting ready to sell it. Some type of workout equipment, some little cart I used to use to haul all kinds of crap in. One of the best and worst things I ever did was get a little hand truck that's not pictured here, but I would use that all the time. And my dog that passed away, but yeah, she was great. Um, and I had so many obviously memories, but um, yeah, I used to have so much clutter. Like here's some what do you call it? Basically just a bunch of art materials for from newsprint to like tone paper, notebooks, and I guess I stored stuff in here in a fan, and all kinds of cooking. I did enjoy cooking though, but I bought this thing to mass cook like my lunches, but I never really did. I did like this gallery stuff. Here's some place where I used to keep a tarantula, um, alcohol that I didn't really finish. I even basically, I guess, gave away a lot of it. But I did enjoy like sipping this Buffalo Trace thing, I think it's called, and this tequila when I would listen to music, just like a little drop, and not even drinking, just like tasting, quote unquote, the flavors of the little alcohol. But then I had little fridge when my fridge died during COVID, and that thing was a pain, right? Like I think maybe even little fridge died too, and I had to get another one. Then I used my my crap stored here, like old IBM printer or some weird crap, right? Like charcoal. I don't even know why, right? This stove, actually, one good memory of this is that for one, I used to cook a lot in it, but I made a friend who helped me clean. He was a professional cleaner, and he wanted a bunch of. I had like a machine that I bought for like steaming and cleaning, and I never used it until I had to move out. And he saw it, and he was like, seeing. He saw me just cleaning, and he's like, "Oh, I love cleaning. I'll help you clean." He started helping me clean with. Before he bought anything, he bought a bunch of small things like maybe speakers actually. He was huge into speakers like my dad. And then eventually we kind of became friends and he told me his life story about El Salvador and how difficult it was. But now in the US, he was, pretty happy and he would do all kinds of jobs like moving and he helped me a lot. He helped me a ton. Like he took a bunch of trash and threw it out and he cleaned the whole place at the end when I got rid of everything. He was like a professional cleaner, so he cleaned it so well. So it was it was such a great help, right? Because I had so much. And anyway, some of the stuff that I stored from like bark and making those terrariums I never used. This Vitamix was actually really really handy. And I had another thing stored down here was a juicer for making like frozen basically I would freeze bananas and I would put them through that juicer and it was so strong. And also I would combine it with like apples, not frozen apples, just regular apples, and like raisins I think, and it made basically ice cream that was really really healthy. Love that. And also had like a food processor that I would make like this chocolate with like dates and like chocolate cacao powder without sugar and strawberries. One of my favorite too. And just the food processor for getting different textures of like apples was great too. My food scale would I would weight everything because I have a huge problem with food. The sharpener for my uh, knives and these nasty little pots for making rice. These were really nasty. This one I got used. This I got used to on a trade. This this was a nasty microwave. I didn't realize how nasty it was, but I kept using it and it was fine. But I traded like a samurai sword for this thing. Oh, here's another juicer that I had like two of these I think, but I didn't really use it that much. Oh, here's the food processor that eventually started break down because I used it so much. Here's that juicer that I was talking about, the heavy Omega, I think it's called, duty one. This is my, ghetto cables going everywhere, kind of dangerous maybe. Finally, even more storage, water, all these tubs that I got because I had so much stuff. This is probably the beginning of me starting to clean storage and storage upon storage. I had a bike thing for the bike because it would go down even though I never used it. A bunch of tools. This would probably kept clothes and tools in here, right? Like, oh, these. I bought so many shirts that I never even opened, but I did like this company. I wish I knew what it was called because they made like shirts that were really cool. Like the buttons were different, and there were subtle things, right? Like maybe the inside of the collar was a different design, and sometimes it would be so subtle, like they would be one color, and I really loved those. But they were like $30 or $20, something not too crazy where some of those shoes can get expensive. And even bought Supreme stuff. Actually, these shoes are the ones I ended up traveling to South America with because the ones in the corner here, they're like, what are they called? New Balances that are really wide. And it was hard to find them again. I found some, my current shoes are from, I think, maybe, I don't know where they're made, but I bought them in Greece. And I just bought them at some, I guess some Asian lady had the store. Um, and she was really discounting some of these shoes that were odd colors. So I bought them because they fit really well. I had this air compressor for my airbrush, and I never really used it, but I remember having to clean it. Oh, my headphones were really high end ones, AC Audacity LCD2s, I think they were. This bamboo thing, I think. Basically, I didn't lose. I got pretty good money on it because this became kind of rare wood that people would seek, and this box that it came in, right, was really, really good. But I would buy something like this again. I got the other Sennheisers that are not as high end, but I think these were my favorite. They just were too heavy though. Man, so many memories from this stuff. Like I used to be into weird, like kind of hip hoppy type of, or I don't know how you describe this type of jacket, but it had so many like weird things things that were useless, like little stuff coming out of here and uh, just like straps that don't do anything. But I like that. I also like this embroidery one, but not as much. I don't think it's that high quality. Then I had so much camera. Like I used to be into film, and I would send. I only sent it once, I think, to develop, but I did enjoy that. I think I would do that again because it's not that expensive, right? These little old cameras were. I just love watching people talk about how they would use old technology, not because it's better, just because it's like a restriction and it's fun. I think it's maybe the Hulk here, and that's it. So that was fun. Now only a backpack remains.